If you've owned units any amount of time, you've wondered how to deal with tenants' late rent payments. And if you haven't, you probably will in the future have a tenant that struggles to pay their rent on time. So what do you do with that tenant? How do you make sure they pay? Let's get going. Over the years of owning properties, I've dealt with tenants that paid every month and I've never had to call them. I've dealt with tenants that pay every single month and just have a rocky road, have a couple months, then they get back on track. And I've dealt with tenants that from the minute we rented to them, they really struggled to make those rent payments on time. So what I'm gonna do in this video is give you the 5 things you can do to make sure tenants pay you on time. But stick around to the end because I'm going to give you a tip at the end that's really going to set all of this. Because the truth of the matter is, I think collecting rent is a lot more than your systems. Stick around to the end and I'll tell you exactly why. The very first thing you can do to make sure tenants are paying on time is have steep late fees. A lot of people have late fees, but they're so minimal, it's not really an incentive. If I'm paying $5 a day, then I can really cut out a few days and it really doesn't matter. But it really is hard to run a business when we don't know when rent's coming in. So what I say is definitely have late fees. Make sure they're steep enough to create incentive for your tenants to actually get to your property manager with their check every month. So for my properties, we have very steep late fees. We do, however, offer a 3-day grace period, and I would encourage you to do the same. From the 1st to the 3rd of every month is a grace period. There's no late fees inside of that because something can happen, a flat tire, we got a big snowstorm and they can't drive their check over, or whatever. Things happen, and we understand that. So we give a 3-day grace period, and on the 4th day of every month is when our late fees kick in. But our late fee is $50 a day. Now, $50 a day is a really steep late fee, and that's why we have it. We have it in order so people pay on time. By the way, do check with your state. Some states have some limit on the late fees you can charge. So make sure, depending on the state you're in, check with your real estate attorney. They'll be able to tell you what late fee is allowed within your state. And sometimes property managers will know that number as well. But also give them multiple ways that they can pay you. They can pay you obviously by check or cash, but also give them money transfer options through Venmo, Apple Pay, or a debit card so they can pay in order to get their rent to you quickly and on time. Oftentimes when tenants don't pay, we inject why. We assume, oh, they just don't have the money. Well, that's often not the case. Sometimes tenants have the money and they just forget to transfer it or it just slipped off their calendar. So making sure that there are different ways that they can pay instantly when they remember is a great way to make sure you get your rent every month on time. The second thing you can do to make sure people pay on time is don't offer incentives for paying rent on time. I know a lot of owners offer incentives for on-time payment. The problem is this is rewarding people for an expectation. This is rewarding people for something that they signed a contract that they would do. It would be like rewarding somebody because they didn't steal. That's kind of the expectation in the law. If they've signed a contract, I don't like to create incentives for following that contract. I like to create an expectation. This is like getting a cookie for not stealing. You would never give your kid a cookie for not lying because the truth of the matter is that's kind of the expectation. And it's the same with our tenants. I don't want to treat them that there's a reward for doing what they've agreed to. I want to create a culture where they do what they say they were going to do and we do what we say we were going to do. If we say we're going to upgrade their unit, we're going to upgrade their unit. If we say that we're going to come when they ask for repair on time, we're going to come quickly and on time. Because we're going to create a culture where we do what we say. So I don't like incentives for on-time payments because that creates reward for something they've already agreed to. However, you can send out unpromised or unmarketed rewards. For example, let's say the end of the year rolls around, Christmas rolls around, Halloween rolls around, and you have a tenant that's made every single payment on time, sending them a gift card saying, thank you for being a great tenant this year. We love having you at our place, and giving them a free dinner out for them and their family. Now that's a great incentive. It's not marketed. I'm not telling them I'm going to give it. It's not an incentive to pay on time. I'm just thanking them for being a good tenant. The other thing I'm doing, if I send out unmarketed rewards and I'm just blessing my tenants, I never tell them it's because you made all of your rent payments on time. I'm just saying, we're thankful to have you as a tenant. And the tenants that pay on time and do what they say, those are the tenants that tend to get those rewards. The third thing your property management company or you as a company can do to make sure rents show up on time is set up an email autoresponder. You're going to need what's called a CRM, or a customer relationship management system. There are many different management systems you can use, and you can get a system where you put all of your tenants' emails and they get an automated email 1 week before rent is due reminding them, hey, your rent is due in 7 days. You can mail it to XYZ address. Again, thank you for being an amazing tenant. But the point is, we're continually sending out an autoresponder so they know rent is coming up. It's just a gentle reminder, and it doesn't cost us very much money to get. In fact, you can go to MailChimp.com, and MailChimp will allow you to have 2,000 contacts for no money. It's a free CRM you can leverage as long as you don't have more than 2,000 tenants, which many of you won't. So you can leverage a free CRM and communicate with your tenants over and over again at no cost to you. What I like to do with my CRM is send an email 1 week before and 1 day before, just to remind them again that rent is due, and that's 2 contacts every single month. People really can't say you don't communicate with them if they're getting continual emails reminding them about rent. But another way to use your CRM is to continue to encourage tenants. For example, you can give some energy saving tips in your CRM. Tell them how to save on their energy bills and continue to add value to them. Our property management company, every now and then, will send out an email making sure everything is going okay. Is there anything in the house that needs to be repaired? A lot of owners will tell you never do that because you don't want to fix stuff. But here's what I've realized. If we can get it fixed beforehand, it's often a lot less to fix if the problem continues to go on. It's just a little bit of a leaky faucet, but if they let it go for a few months, it can be an entirely rotted floor. That's why we want to make sure we get on this ahead of time. Your CRM can continually communicate with them, and by you sending these other emails, you're going to keep in their mind, they're going to remember to pay, and you're going to continually add value in your CRM. The reason I like to send other emails other than just rent emails is it lets them hear from me when I'm not just asking for money. Also, before I go on to the next tips, would you mind sharing this video with somebody who would love to hear how to make sure their tenants pay on time? We also have some other videos on this channel covering an array of topics. One is how to pick a great property manager and how much do property managers charge, as well as how to make sure your tenants pay every single month. The fourth thing you can do to make sure tenants pay you on time is to hire a property manager. I can tell you this, when I hired a property manager, I got a lot more money on time from my tenants than I did when I was doing it myself. Because I had a million things going on. When the first of the month came, sometimes I even forgot it was the first of the month and rent was supposed to be coming in. Because again, when I first started off, rental property was a side income. It wasn't my full-time job. So it was something I was doing on the side. I forgot that it was the first of the month and that rent should be showing up. A property manager's full-time job is the health of your units, and often you'll make the money back in what property managers charge you with how well they manage your property in collecting rent on time, making sure late fees are paid. If people don't pay on time, managers are worth their weight in gold, and they surely self-fund. Self-funding means they actually make you what they charge you. Our property managers save us and make us what they charge us every single year because they're making sure tenants are paying on time and we're actually getting our cash. The second thing a property manager can do is they can blame you. And I know this kind of sounds funny, but I tell all my property managers this. None of my owners know who I am, so they always make me out to be the bad guy. So if a property manager is talking to a tenant and a tenant wants to pay late, they simply say, you know what, I totally understand and I would totally let you out of this, but the owner, he's kind of a stickler on this stuff, so we're going to have that rent on time. I want myself to be the bad guy because they're never going to know who I am. So the truth of the matter is the property manager has another layer around them to continue to keep a great relationship with that tenant so that the manager can continue to build that relationship. The fifth way you can make sure to get rent on time is by a state of gratitude. You have to understand that gratitude drives businesses to success. I want you to start being grateful for the tenants that pay on time, and also make sure you're thanking your quality tenants regularly. Making sure they're getting thank you cards every now and then that just says, thank you for being a great tenant. Making sure they're getting a Christmas card saying, we love having you in our property. Thank you so much. If you know anybody else who's looking for a great property, we may have some openings. See, I can use gratitude to leverage my business, but I want to continue to remain grateful for my tenants and towards the people that are in my properties. I want to give you a bonus tip that really is what sets this whole thing into place. Rent collection is a mindset culture. Having a culture in a community where tenants pay you on time is as much a mindset as it is systems that make sure they actually pay you. The mindset says, listen, we expect people to pay us on time because we do what we say. It's an expectation of culture. Our property managers talk to them like we're expecting them to pay because that's what tenants in our culture do. People pay on time. We don't have to evict people. That's not the culture we have. Because our culture, we take such good care of our tenants, they don't want to leave and they certainly don't want to be removed. And so again, understanding rent collection is a mindset. It's a mindset of collecting rent from tenants. It's a mindset of loving our tenants and making sure they know how grateful we are to have them here and treating them well, so they feel obligated to pay on time just because we treat them so well. Rent collection is as much a mindset culture as it is systems to get money. I also want to give you a free gift for tuning in today. If you click the link in the description, you'll be taken to our free multifamily masterclass, which is a free 60-minute training where I walk you through how to get a piece of multifamily in 71 days or less. Literally, it's the exact process I use to land a property in that exact time frame. So click the link in the description. I'll see you in the training.